Okay, cool. Hello, everyone, wherever you are. We expect you to join us from everywhere around the globe, not only in New Zealand. So, first of all, let me introduce myself a little bit. And yeah, who am I? I am Sohail Bakhshi, and I'm a Microsoft Data Platform MVP. I'm also a consultant. I sometimes write blog posts because uh, I believe in knowledge sharing. I've learned a lot from other people, so I try to share my experience with others for free through my blog post. And I'm also author. In 2020 and 2021, I wrote two books. One is a free ebook that you can download it from the internet. It is intermediate guide, step-by-step training for Power BI, and the other one is expert data modeling with Power BI. I'm also a startup owner of Data Visioner, which is a company. I'm happy to get in touch with everyone who is interested to reach out to me via the links on this page, on my website or on my Twitter or LinkedIn. So the agenda for today is to go through Power BI governance. So first of all, we will discuss different methods of Power BI delivery across the organizations. And we will also talk about Power BI adoption, roles and responsibilities, Power BI administration, demo, and content promotion in Power BI service, which is also another part of the demo. This session will have a lot of demos. If time allows that I can finish all of them, it would be perfect. So information protection or sensitivity labels to protect your data assets across the organization. I will also look at audit logs, and then we will have a look at Power BI documentation options. Obviously, documentation is a part of any sort of governance platform. So let's start. So, and please, I don't like this session to be monologue. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. If I didn't see your question or you are raising your hand, please, Hamish, please let me know and I will go through the questions to answer the questions. So let's start with the evolution of business intelligence or BI. So there are three waves of business intelligence evolution. Wave one is for technical BI, where IT or BI experts take care of everything across the platform. By everything, it includes all the tooling, all the data, the systems, access rights, data visualizations, creating reports, which are so-called canned reports, and those sort of things. And these guys, which are business intelligence experts, they are taking care of everything and they are making the outcomes available to the end users, right? During the time, many people saw the IT or BI team as a bottleneck because they thought, oh, actually, this is my business data, but you are, holding off it, and it takes a long time to prepare a report for us to gain the insight out of my business. So the wave two started, which was about self-service BI. Now the business says, hey, look, I own the data, I own the tool, I can take care of everything, right? But in reality, these guys are actually business people. There are a lot of sharp minds across the business, no doubt about it. But when it comes to governance and comes to security, that is not good because there are a lot of data leakage reported across the years that are just a reason or the outcome of uncontrolled environment. So the business owns the data, the business owns the tool, and they think, okay, so I go and create whatever I want, and I share it with whoever I want, But when it comes to applying self-service BI to large organizations, it can be dangerous. The third wave is saying, okay, so now let's enable everyone. Everyone can access everything, but in a controlled manner. So obviously, if I am in IT department, I really don't need to have access to HR data or finance data, right? So in a controlled manner, but I can do whatever is related to myself, including the data, including the tool, including access rights. So if I should not have access to a certain part of the ecosystem, that is completely controlled, or a umbrella, which is called governance. Power BI delivery methods. At the moment, we have 3 different Power BI delivery methods, which are completely aligned with the evolution of BI across the years, right? The first, which is corporate BI, right? We can do corporate BI with Power BI by disabling all people's access rights to create their own reports. So no one can create reports other than our Power BI experts, right? So that is the corporate BI of delivery methods. The second one is end user BI, which I deliberately put it in the middle, which is the third wave, and self-service BI on the right hand side, right? As you can see, corporate BI is less agile, right? But it is more governed, right? So if you can see from left to right, I have less agility and most agility, less agility for corporate BI, and I get most agility in self-service BI. But in general, I will get a balance in the middle. So the ownership here, the last, the third layer is showing me the ownership. So the IT people own the solution, but not the data. The data is owned by the business, right? So there is a balance between solution, and the ownership can move from business to corporate to IT during the time. So after we delivered a whole system, we can completely move the ownership from corporate or from the business intelligence team or the IT team into the business themselves. We can say, okay, so we put all the governance rules applied in here, and you can own the whole solution, including the data, including everything, because it is there, right? But if you like, you can consult with us. You can ask for our consultation. So actually, the middle part is a desired method of delivery approaches. But having said that, there is nothing wrong with those two if we are thinking about delivering the solution in a more controlled way, so that will not get hit down the road by data leakage and security and privacy issues and those sort of things. The stages of Power BI adoption. The way organizations adopt tools, it has 4 parts in it. So the first part is awareness of the tool, which in this case is Power BI, right? Awareness of the tool and its features. Awareness can come from, you can attend user groups, you can attend conferences, you can go to technical events, and you get aware of the tool, which is Power BI, and its features, right? The second step is understanding the benefits of Power BI and its capabilities by researching on the internet, again, attending technical workshops, technical events, or training courses, online or paid training courses in person, which is not possible at the moment in many parts of the world. The third step is enabling the end user by learning Power BI. Attending training courses, I personally encourage everyone to attend a Dashboard in a Day training course from Microsoft, which a lot of organizations provide this. This is sort of a free course if it is publicly announced, right? And by self-exploration, you can learn Power BI. Power BI is a very very user-friendly tool and developer-friendly tool. If you are coming from an Excel background, the first day that you start using Power BI, you may think, there are some confusions here and there, but you will feel home, you will feel comfortable pretty quickly. And the fourth step is adoption. When you adopt Power BI across the organization by gaining ongoing value and getting inspired by knowing how to resolve complex challenges across the organizations, and getting better on a daily basis. Everyone gets better in their job when they practice a lot. And you come up with a plan for adopting a tool, which in this case is Power BI, across the organization. Adopting a tool, or Power BI in this case, needs a plan, and a plan involves people. So it is important for the organizations to think about who is responsible for what. So who is doing what? Power BI adoption comes with some roles and responsibilities. These are key roles and responsibilities. It doesn't mean that you have to have those roles. But these are the key ones that you can select from, right? So a adoption framework requires a corporate sponsor, someone who is a leader, someone that can assess the tool, someone who can prioritize the business areas and project approvals and sign-offs. Next one is Power BI champion. So far, I find the term Power BI champion the most confusing one across the all adoption roles, key roles, because the purpose of Power BI champion is not someone who is super expert in Power BI. No, these are Power BI enthusiasts. It can be a finance manager, it can be someone who is motivating others and to use Power BI. It can be just an accountant who is using Power BI quite a lot, impressing their managers by creating really informative information out of the data, right? The next one is Data Information Security Manager, for obvious reasons, data residency and auditing, data policy enforcement, all those sort of things. Data architects will look at matching business requirements with technical capabilities and developing an architecture that meets the security and compliance and all the governance policies that the organization would like to adopt. Data stewards will create and maintain business metadata, enhancing data quality and maintaining data catalogs and data dictionaries, or they will, in many cases, data stewards take care of the documentation that can be automated, right? We will discuss it later in this session if time allows. Power BI developers I think this is the most renowned role across the Power BI adoption. So Power BI developers will take care of data modeling, data preparation, data visualization, and publishing, deployment, all those sort of things. Another one is Power BI administrators. This role is quite important when it comes to governance and adoption, so that you give specific people only the access rights that they need and put restrictions on. And the restrictions doesn't mean that we do not allow you to do a better work. We actually are enabling people to do their job better in a safe way, right? So they can initially set up the tenant, they can cooperate with other, administrators like Microsoft 365 admins or Azure administrators. License management and those sort of things are falling into Power BI administrator role. Business support specialists, who are people who know Power BI quite well. They can grant access to Power BI app workspaces. They can support the gateway if there are minor enhancements here and there. These guys are quite handy. And service delivery manager, which supports business users with complex modeling scenarios, helping with data visualizations and R visuals and those sort of things, which are more around the service delivery analysis. But the question raises, one question raises after that: who is actually going to fulfill these roles? Okay, so now we have those roles defined and we know who is responsible for what. We have to map those roles into real people across the organization, right? And after a while, we can find out those peoples, right? We can find those peoples with assigned key roles to adopt a Power BI across the organization and starting our governance framework as well. Power BI adoption is a thing that requires okay, so I'm going, yeah, teamwork. Okay, so sorry, I was clicking backwards. So it requires teamwork. It is not something that we can set overnight and we say, okay, so we want to adopt Power BI, here we go. No, it has a process. It has a process. It is a process that starts from mindset and thinking, and it ends with a successful adoption. One of the key roles that I would like to discuss today is Power BI administration, right? Power BI administrators, as I said, are one of the key roles in Power BI adoption and governance framework. Power BI administrators are responsible for managing Power BI tenant or admin portal, coordinating with Office 365 and Azure administrators, and you will see why, because Power BI administrators has some restrictions on their access rights, and they will require to cooperate with other admins. License assignments and setting up monitoring the service and the system, and gateway management. By gateway, I'm referring to on-premises data gateway, which is available across Power Platform and Power BI as well. So the demo, this demo will be a quick demo. I will go through some of the key configuration in Power BI admin portal. But I suppose the key message here is that we have to configure our admin portal based on governance policies. So we have to think about governance policies first and come up with an idea of, okay, so am I allowing my people to use or the users to use custom visuals across the organization? Or yes, I am allowing custom visuals, but I want them to only use certified custom visuals. Certified custom visuals are those ones who are which are sandboxed by Microsoft. They are fully tested, right? So they are safer to use, and many organizations do not like their developers or contributors to use uncertified custom visuals. But what if that there is actually a custom visual that is not certified by Microsoft, but it is certified by the organization? Yes, we can manage all that through admin portal. Let me go to bring up admin portal. When you log into Power BI, if you are a Power BI administrator, you can click on the gear button on top right, and you can go to admin portal. Any questions so far? I don't see any questions in the chat box. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. So, for instance, the one that I raised. So this is just a web page, so I can always search. I can say custom visuals, right? So as you see, in this specific environment, I'm not allowing people to download from custom visuals, right? So because the organization policy does not allow it, right? But we are actually allowing a security group, right, to use to create visuals using Power BI SDKs. You know, I can create my own custom visual. Why not? But it is only available for a certain group of people. Not everyone can do it. And this is actually good practice to create security groups specifically for different type of people based on your governance policies that will apply to Power BI. And this is something that it crosses with the first step that it crosses between Power BI administrators and Azure administrators or M365 administrators, because as Power BI admin, I do not have access to create a user or a security group, right? So I have to collaborate with M365 administrators, and I can say, okay, so here is the list of security groups that we want, and here is the security mapping. So these people or these accounts must be applied to these sort of security groups, and I can use it in several different parts of my admin portal across the Power BI tenant, right? Or for instance, if I do not want to allow R and Python visuals, if the organization has certain security policies that they are not comfortable with running R scripts or Python scripts from Power BI visuals, we can enable or disable it. Some of the settings within the tenant settings in admin portal are across the organization, and some of them are something that we can apply to a security group, or we can accept a security group in those set of configurations. There are a lot of things that we can control, and this is for good. This is for good, right? So something like, okay, this is pretty new. If I want to enable Power BI admin API settings, right? So there are a new set of Power BI REST APIs available for administrators, which I will touch on later today, right? So this one is pretty interesting. So you can use APIs to run DAX expressions in PowerShell. We can do it, yes. Okay, so QA settings, dataset security. We can block republishing and disabling the package refresh. Those sort of things. Or in another session today, someone asked for asked a security question around Teams, right? There are some advanced networking settings in Power BI that you can enable. This is pretty good to secure your environment. So it means that when you are, especially this one, blocking public internet access, right? Blocking public internet access. So the users will not be able to access your environment by simply typing app.powerbi.com, just like that, app.powerbi.com, because it is actually behind a VNet, right? So it is not something that they can access directly. And you can create Azure private link in here. You can enable it or disable it, and those sort of things. Any questions around Power BI admin portal? There are a lot of things in here that we can control and we can set. Not only those things that we can set, actually we can have a look at usage metrics. So if there is any questions, please raise your hands now. Otherwise, I'll continue. No questions so far. Okay, so we can go through usage metrics to see who is doing what. And Alan Duyon is someone who is using Power BI quite a lot, right? Or we can look at the consumption by user. And this report is actually built by Power BI. By Power BI for Power BI. It's interesting. We can look at the users, but as I said, this is again the way, you know, one of the steps that Power BI administrators should collaborate with other admins. So in this particular case, the Power BI administrator is also Microsoft 365 administrator and Azure Global Admin, right? So if I click on it, it navigates me to another page that I can click on, and it navigates me to the M365 Admin Center, and I can look at my user lists, right? Active users. And from here, I can also create security groups, right? Because I can go and create security groups in here. The other part of admin portal includes premium per user settings, that if you own a premium per user licensing, you can set it up here, something like XML endpoint. You can set it up to be read only or read and write, or you can turn it off. Capacity settings, if you own a Power BI premium capacity, you can use capacity settings. Organizational visuals is the one that I discussed earlier. Those two, from those two, only bullet chart comes with the badge of certified custom visual. This is sandboxed by Microsoft, while the other one isn't. Globe map, right? But my organization requires that map, right? So I can certify it for the organization. And what happens here when my users open up their Power BI, users of my organization, if they are logged in their Power BI desktop, after they open up Power BI desktop, those custom visuals will show up in here, right? So see, and they are not showing up separately as a custom visual. They look like to be a out-of-the-box visual, while we know that those are actually custom visuals, right? And if another part is workspace management, right? So you can come here and look at your workspaces, and you can say, okay, I want to see 100 workspaces in the page. And if you have some, still you have some Teams channels which were created previously by Teams, and they appeared in Power BI as a workspace. You can see those, you can upgrade those to Power BI Workspace, which are those ones, right? But those ones are Power BI workspaces that are created properly within Power BI. Because previously we could create, whenever we were creating a Teams team or Teams, it was showing up as a new workspace in our Power BI tenant, right? Which was pretty confusing, and it was, sort of messy, because whenever we were opening up Power BI, we're seeing, oh, actually there are a lot of workspaces, and there are a lot of them are actually empty workspaces, right? So we can come here as an administrator, and there are some batch capabilities that you can select, and you can, if the workspaces that you select are all the new generation of workspaces, you can create a, you can do access rights as a bulk access right, and you can save it on the workspace. Custom branding, if the organization requires custom branding, you can select theme color, you can add logo, you can add cover page, those sort of things. And protection metrics, which is related to data protection, that I will discuss later today. And featured contents are those ones that are shared, right? Any questions so far? Okay, cool. So let's see what else we have in here. The next demo is about content promotion in Power BI service. Okay, so this is sort of a really good topic. We have seen many people that got confused by the meaning of data promotion, right? When I come to a Power BI workspace, you will see that there is something called endorsement here, right? And within the endorsement, I have certified and promoted. And those certified and promoted can be on any artifacts on Power BI. It can be a certified data flows, which Reza covered in the previous session pretty well. So this is a certified data flow, and this is a promoted dataset. What is the endorsement? The endorsement translates to level of trust to an artifact within Power BI platform, right? So if I'm talking about a data flow, how trustworthy the data and the process within that data flow is, right? There are 3 levels of endorsement. The standard endorsement, or the dash endorsement, as you can see, there's no name for it, which means that it is not endorsed, right? So perhaps someone created a data flow for testing the capabilities of data flow, or they just uploaded an Excel file here as an Excel, right? And it is not actually endorsed by anyone. And there must be a process for endorsement, right? It is in old days, it was we were referring to endorsement to certification, and we had different types of certification, something like bronze, gold, and bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, right? So bronze is the data source, in this case artifact, that can be a report, can be a data flow, can be a data set, which is not endorsed by anyone, right? It is not audited, it is not reviewed by anyone, it never sanitized by anyone, right? So someone created something and maybe it is working pretty well, and maybe it is worthwhile to be endorsed, but it hasn't been endorsed yet. So it didn't go through the certification process to be certified or promoted, right? So that is the bronze, right? The silver, which is which translates to promoted, is that the data and the whole process, the data preparation, data modeling, data visualization, and data sanitization. Is the number that I'm seeing on the screen, is it correct? Is it right? Right? There are a level of trust to the information that you can see on the page, right, and the underlying data. So that is promoted, and certified is gold plate, artifact, data flow, Excel report, Power BI report, or data set, right? So it is gold plated. It is audited from many different aspects, right? So how it performs in terms of report rendering performance, or in terms of data pipelines, the running overnight, or we schedule some data refreshes a day, right? So 5, 8 refreshes a day. How do they perform? How much they take to refresh the data? Do they fail? If they fail, why they are failing? And it is curated by all means, right? So it is certified, and certification is also something that we can define within the admin portal, which was our previous conversation, previous part of the session, certification, right? So within the certification, we can apply a URL that goes to the documentation of certification. What is the certification process for this specific artifact to be certified, right? And who is allowed to apply those certifications? As you can see in here, we have a specific security group. Again, best practice to have specific security groups for specific reasons, aligned with your governance policies, right? So I have Power BI governance group, who are people who are allowed to certify different artifacts within Power BI. Is certification a security setting or configuration? The answer is no, it is not. It is more around quality and the level of trust, right? I see in some organizations they say, what about security? It's not about security. No, it's not about security whatsoever. Is there any questions? I don't see any questions in the chat box. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Okay, so the next part is about Power BI sensitivity labels, or Microsoft 365 information protection, supporting using Microsoft information protection within Power BI, right? Microsoft information protection includes with M365 compliance to help organizations to discover, classify, and protect their sensitive information wherever it lives or travels. Those 2 points are pretty important, which means if you connect from Excel to a data set which has a sensitive data in it, either you cannot connect to, or if you connect to it, the sensitivity label that you set on the data set propagates to the Excel file, and if you share it with someone else outside of the organization, they will not be able to see anything in there. So knowing your data, so it will help you to know your data, to understand the data, and identify important data across your environment. Second part is to protecting the data by applying flexible protection actions such as encryption, right? Which in the Excel example that I said, the data is encrypted, and that is why if someone is not across your organization, if it is external user that cannot open the Excel file, it is encrypted, right? So to prevent data loss, so detecting risky behavior and preventing accidental oversharing of sensitive data with unauthorized audience, right? And which leads to a successful governance platform of your data and across the Power BI. Power BI, and again, this is Microsoft Information Protection is a feature of M365 compliance. So it is not only for Power BI; it is for the whole Power Platform, and it is even larger than that from an Azure point of view. Microsoft Information Protection for Power BI. What does that mean? Microsoft Information Protection, allows many. It comes with a lot of different features and capabilities, like auto detecting behavior or auto classification. Those sort of things are outside of Power BI administration and governance. Those are more sitting towards leaning towards the M365 and the whole Power Platform governance, right? But a single solution across apps, services, and devices labeled and protect to label and protect your data wherever it transfers and wherever it goes. Authorized users can apply sensitivity labels from either Power BI Desktop or Power BI Service. At the moment, we can apply sensitivity labels across data sets, data flows, reports, and dashboards. One thing, one note, important note, as a Power BI administrator, we do not have access rights to create sensitivity labels, right? The sensitivity labels in Power BI inherited from M365 compliance center. So let's go to a demo and let me show you what it means. So first one, okay, so if I have a Power BI model or report here, as you can see, there is a sensitivity section in my ribbon bar that I can click on it, and it will show me the sensitivity labels that are defined by my M365 administrators, right? So if it is a personal, if it is a personal report in dataset, I can set the label to personal. If it is general, I can set it to general. If it is confidential or highly confidential or internal only. So there's a really fine definition between different of them. And as you can see, whenever I hover over it, it gives me a definition of what is Contoso Finance or general or defined by M365 administrators. They can put some guidelines here. They can say, okay, so be aware that you are not allowed to share this content with external users, right? So, which means, does the information protection, or more specifically, sensitivity labels, stop me sharing the content with unauthorized people? The answer is no, it doesn't, right? I still can share this report, even though it is marked as internal only, which is highly confidential, or even worse than, I mean, not worse than, more sensitive data in there. And with capital case, it says copying and sharing this data is strongly prohibited, right? So I know that, but can I still share it with someone? Of course, I can share it with someone, but that someone on the other side will not be able to open it because it is marked as sensitive, right? Let's go through it. When I come to here, you see that I put some sensitivity labels. So I can put it on sensitivity label. I can set it in Power BI desktop or Power BI service. And in this case, I have this particular data set, which is called internal only, right? So what I can do, I can come to the data set and I can set the sensitivity label for that specific data set, and those are the reports. That is the report that is connected to that data set. I can also set the sensitivity label for this data set, right? So let's go back to the previous page, right? And let's find a sensitivity of highly confidential, right? Something like, or maybe I go to another Workspace. I think I had something in finance, internal only, revenue dashboard, right? So what if I download the PBIX file, right, of revenue analysis dashboard? I have it now. I go there and I open it up in Power BI desktop. Okay, see, this user is different, right? This user is my user. I am from Data Visionary Organization. I am an external user to the one that is from my Contoso test environment, right? So I go to download. Oh, sorry, not from there, from here. I go to downloads and I open it. See, I am not allowed to see this, the content of this file. It is totally a different environment. Just think about it. Okay, so I see this, and I have sometimes a debate with some system administrators that they are blocking people from installing a new software, right? So you join the organization and you see that you do not have access right to install the tools that you really require, right? So let's say you are a Power BI developer. You have Power BI desktop on your machine, but you really would like to have all of those other external tools installed on your machine, like something like DAX Studio or Tabular Editor, right? You do not have access right. You cannot install the tool. But what about if someone shares something really sensitive with external users? In many organizations, these controls are not in place, right? So with sensitivity label is something that we can help us. And not only that, if I connect from Excel to this specific data set, I can connect from Excel to this specific data set if I am from the same organization, because it is encrypted. And this is including highly sensitive data. Any questions about sensitivity labels? Okay, so let me quickly jump through the other part of my presentation, which is audit logs. Okay, so audit logs I have a lot to talk about audit logs. It can be a full session by itself, but audit logs are let's go through it. Okay, so from admin portal and I go audit logs. Audit logs is not available for Power BI administrators. Oh, actually, it is not true. It is available to Power BI administrators, but through PowerShell, right? So what you can do, you can install, okay, so you can install the module, right? You can install the module in PowerShell, right? And I put force and allow clubber to override if I have a previous version installed on my machine, right? And then you can log into Power BI and you can get a list of all activities, right? And be aware that those dates must be the same date, right? So it is that is a restriction. That must be one day, right? When you go through this specific Power BI activity event, right? When we run this, it will give us all the activities ran in the last 24 hours, right? We can also put some, let me just make it a bit bigger. We can also filter it, right? So we can filter the activity. We can say, oh, actually, I want to have a look at the view dashboards, all the activities that, well, just the view dashboard activity, right? And I can run it from there, right? But what if I am also M365 administrator? I can click on the button in audit logs. I can click on it and it navigates me to M365 Compliance Center and the audit page. It takes a wee while to refresh and you can search for different Power BI events, right? Power BI, and you have view Power BI dashboard, created, edited, deleted, shared, those sort of things. And in here, you are not restricted to one day only, one day of events. Actually, it is 90 days of events, right? So you can click share and you will see all the events in here. But you can, as a Power BI administrator, if you are interested in using PowerShell, you can do a lot more than that. So you can get you can pass your credentials, or if you like to automate the whole process, something like this, you can export the all workspaces into a file. So I can just quickly run this and it opens up. There you go. It saved a file for me in here. I have all workspaces here, right? And it is all through PowerShell. And as you can see, it is fast. Man, it is fast. It is really good. Or if you like to have a list of all datasets. And okay, so why do we require to get this? There is a caveat here. Unfortunately, audit logs are a little bit slow, right? It can take somewhere between 15 minutes to 3 hours to 2 hours if you are a massive tenant and environment to capture all of the events that are running in the background. It takes time, right? So with this, what you can do, you can run a Power Automate, to automate things. Something like you can get a list of all data sets. You can store it into CSV or in Power Automate or Azure Logic Apps. Through Power Automate or Azure Logic Apps, you can use Power BI APIs, not PowerShell commandlets for Power BI. You can use Power BI APIs to get a list of all data sets. And when we run this, it is giving us a lot of information that are also available within the the APIs, if you look at the data set, what it gives us, it is pretty good. I'll tell you why it is pretty good. It is giving me the created date, right? Okay, so what I can do, I can create a sort of incremental data load process. I can dump this data into a intermediary SQL Server, small SQL Server table, right, with the created date and all those sort of things. And I can identify if a data set is modified, if it is deleted or whatever, right? And if it is refreshed or API and all of those sort of things, and I can run a trigger, and I can run this process every 5-10 minutes rather than waiting for the audit logs to send me an alert after 1.5 hours that an event has happened already. So I quickly jump to the next up. So these are the events that we recommend to always keep an eye on. Something like all the deleted ones, or change sensitivity labels in Power BI dashboards, reports, and all the artifacts and those sort of things. Any questions so far? Okay, so I have to be quick. I have only 4 minutes, and after that you can ask some questions if you have any. So the last part, last but not least, is Power BI documentation options. As of today, there are 2 solutions for that. There are many solutions. All right, so disclaimer, it is not saying, I'm not saying that you cannot find Power BI documentations other than these 2. No, these 2 are more focused. Well, actually, only one of them is more focused on the documentation side of things. You know, Azure Purview by Microsoft is a massive service. It is very, very thorough. It is very powerful with data lineage and cataloging tool, and it comes with some sort of documentation capabilities. Power BI Documenter is a product that my organization creates, and it has a free version, and it has also external tool available on it that you can click on it, and by click it automates the documentation for you, right? And Azure Purview by Microsoft, you can look at different sources. As you can see, this is a great example environment. This is not something that I built. No, it is just a screenshot from a Microsoft website explaining about Purview. I actually wrote a concise blog post around Purview and how to set it up to work with your Power BI environment. But as you can see here, it's not only supporting Microsoft technologies, it also supports AWS, right? And it is also giving you a very good lineage, right? While Power BI Documenter, what it does, it can show you your data model, it can show you the relationships, your Power Query queries and dependencies, those sort of things, and it actually documents it for you, right? Thank you so much for your time and attention. I didn't get any questions. I hope that you found this session informative.
Thanks, Hale. Dead on time there with a minute ago. So I don't think we had any questions throughout the session, but there was again a huge amount of information. So thank you for sharing all of that, and it's probably a lot for people to take away. Thank you.
Sure, anytime. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Hamish.
Not a problem. Thanks for presenting.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.